Musical theater writers get hundreds of ideas, but not every idea wants to become a musical. So how do you know if what you're thinking about is a musical? Well, for me, I most recently experienced this when two seemingly unrelated ideas smashed together to become my latest show, Happy Pleasant Valley, a senior sex scandal murder mystery musical. I grew up reading Encyclopedia Brown, Sherlock Holmes, Agatha Christie, and watching Murder, She Wrote, so the structure of telling a murder mystery in those formats really stuck with me, and usually it goes like this. Act 1 involves a murder of some kind, clearly. Act 2 involves the detective character looking for clues and interviewing suspect after suspect, maybe following a few leads that end up being false. And then Act 3 is the big reveal. Now it's that middle section that I knew would be tricky when adapting a mystery for musical theater. Because the idea of watching scene after scene of the detective going around and interviewing people, it just felt like it wasn't going to be conducive for something that was going to drive the plot forward. Because of this, I knew I needed a really juicy premise, otherwise my murder mystery musical might just kind of fall flat. Separately from that idea, sometime in 2017, 2018, I read this article about how STIs are on the rise in certain senior living communities. And I thought, yeah, that only makes sense because suddenly you have grown adults who can no longer get pregnant, living in a college dorm-like environment, and why shouldn't they be getting it on? And that's when the collision happened. What if I set my murder mystery in a senior living community, an active senior living community? And this was the light bulb moment for me because now my murder mystery had a potential for a quirky array of characters. And my senior sex lives idea had this outlandish premise, a murder mystery, that could drive the story forward. Additionally, the fact that it was going to feature a majority senior actor cast was appealing because that's just not something you see often in musical theater. Shout out to Follies. Plus, the exploration of sex opens the door for this to be an exploration of sexuality, and I thought this could also be a chance to showcase some different queer identities. So in my story, the lead is pansexual, there's a trans male non-binary character, one of the senior residents is having his own bisexual awakening. So I had this fun premise, a murder mystery, set in this senior living apartment complex with a group of senior residents who were not going to be shy about their sexual recreational activities. But I also needed an emotional heart, an emotional through line, and that door opened to me by considering what a lot of modern murder mysteries are about. In a lot of contemporary murder mystery stories, you often have a protagonist, usually a female, returning home, and she's maybe trying to help solve the death of somebody, but she is also needing to unpack trauma and baggage from her time when she lived in her hometown. And that's why I landed on the two central characters being a grandmother and a granddaughter who have some family secrets that they need to unearth by the end of the show. Throw in a cheeky title, Happy Pleasant Valley, the acronym of which is HPV, and a perhaps over-explainy subtitle, a senior sex scandal murder mystery musical, and the musical idea was complete. A colorful cast of characters, an emotional throughline, an outlandish premise, a fun title. I was ready to go. In my next couple of videos, I'll be sharing a bit more about what it was like to actually develop the show and what it was like to reach its world premiere. In the meantime, feel free to ask any questions you might have about my creative process or my career journey as a theater writer. I'll do what I can to answer them, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.